Obviously being careful not to go too deep. You're only cutting this outer edge off, so you're not going to go in and scratch the paint underneath the gasket. I'm just trying to free up the edge of the glass to remove it without the chance of breaking it. First thing we're going to do is check the fit, because aftermarket glass can be ill-shaped, can be too big in the corners. Now, how much of a gap do you have on your bottom corner on the side over here? Same as this on the bottom?
Yeah.
You're the same?
Yeah.
Okay. So try to keep it down in line with the... Now, how about on your top corner?
Yeah, it's about the same.
About the same? Look at me over here. Mm-hmm. You see how tight that gets right here?
That one's like right on the edge.
Right, so you have to have the room for that windshield to lay in the car correctly. So what I'm going to have to do is grind off some of this glass in order to get myself this windshield to fit. And that's one of the things, you know, that you don't normally wouldn't even look for. Okay, so see, I'm still a little bit tight over here, but before we were touching.
Yeah, it was,
okay.
This is a lot better on this side.
So, do you have room to go your way to make your gap on the top and bottom
Yes.
the same?
No, it's still a little bit. I
It's
mean,
hard for me to look at both
yeah,
sides.
it's pretty good right here, but this corner is just way big right here.
Way big? I can't do it. What do you mean by big? The gap is big?
Yeah, the gap.
Well, we can't change. We can't add glass.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, a little bit too big. I think this will probably go now. Did that look pretty consistent over there?
Yeah, it looks like you've got, it's tight on the bottom, kind of like yours is. Not real tight, but, you know, quarter.
Just a little bit tighter.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said before, I mean, it was hitting the
Yeah,
back.
it was
you can, I mean, it's worn right there. You can see the paint.
It was riding right on that. So. Hold it tight. I'm trying to get as much of that wax and release agent from when they run this rubber through that tooling or whatever it might do. So I'm going to grab that corner.
You're just using standard glass cleaner.
It's not standard glass cleaner. Matter of fact, I use an Essig or Dow product. So this is chemically linked to the primer, which is chemically linked to the urethane. So it's a chain of events. You know, if you used this glass cleaner, this is alcohol based, this is a different chemical base that will work together. So if you don't use the proper materials, obviously your you know, you go through all this work and you got a link in the chain that's not even connected, you know? So everything needs to be locked together, chemically bonding, you know, one to the other. You know, that's all. I don't even know how many auto glass professionals even worry about the little things like that.
It's the sound of precision, delivers style and performance, all for a surprising price. This is what precision sizes cost for 3,640 for you, signing up to a $500 spring bonus.
Just kind of hold that up. So I'm trying to keep forcing it into the corners. You know, obviously to take up some of that bulk. But the last place you want to fight with putting your moldings on is those corners. I'm trying to keep them as squared. Okay, that's the easy part. So I'm basically just going to lube this up with some glass cleaner. And once we get the glass in there, we'll blow it dry and then we'll prime. And then get it out of my way when I tell you to. Just trying to get the corner of the glass down in there. Okay, go. Challenge is now that glass cleaner is already drying up. It certainly makes it a little more challenging.
So are you? It looks like you're sort of working from the middle out this time with now that you got the glass set in there. It's kind of the way you have to do it.
You know, I couldn't tell you. I don't have an exact plan of attack other than you've got to get one corner in before you can move to the next corner.
Okay.
And you got to get the bottom down in there. And at this point, I want to make sure that the glass is centered because you don't want to get it, you know, it's a little bit pinned to this side. Corners are obviously the most challenging. I'm using a metal hook tool, which, you know, I wouldn't recommend any amateur trying to use something metal in there because one wrong slip, not only are you going to scratch the car, but your chances of breaking the glass. The most common tool would be this plastic, call it a fiber stick, or the old school guys call it a bone. Notice when I was out at that belt sander, I went around every edge on the glass, even the edges that I didn't sand on, because the glass was a little bit sharp, and you can see I'm kind of putting dimples in that rubber. So, you know, part of the problem of not having enough slip agent, I'm gonna push up on the glass just a little bit to try and relieve some pressure so I can get this rubber to come up easier. You can feel it when it bottoms out. And that's about where we're at. Get that thing to sit all the way down in there.
So you were saying you went around the whole glass and put sort of a radius instead of being a sharp corner.
Called seamed at the edge. So, you know, from the factory, they seamed the edge of the glass. But this was a used glass. There were chips in the corner. It had been in and out of a car. And the edge was a little bit sharp. Now, you could use emery paper, you know, emery cloth, to sand that edge smoother. But if it feels sharp to your fingers, you're going to have a challenge trying to get that in there. It's going to be cutting the rubber or whatever. So I'm trying to dry out all that glass cleaner that I put in there. Is that rubber folded right there?
Yeah, it is.